Scorpio, listen closely, because this Friday is unlike any other you've ever lived through, and it will not come again in your lifetime. The energy gathering around you is fierce, rare, and unstoppable, like a cosmic storm that has been building for years, waiting for this exact moment to break open. You may have felt the pressure rising within you, the silent weight of emotions you've carried but never named, the shadows you've hidden behind strength and control. And this Friday, that pressure reaches its peak. Something will rupture, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you into a truer, freer version of yourself. It will test your heart, shake your spirit, and call you into a transformation that can no longer be delayed. If you walk away now, you risk missing the one shift your soul has been waiting for all along. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I'll show you why this Friday is the turning point of your destiny. Scorpio, beneath the surface of your strength, your intensity, and the mask of control you've worn for years, lies a weight so heavy that you may not even realize how much of your life it has shaped. This is not just the ordinary stress of daily living. It is the silent burden of repressed pain, unresolved grief, and patterns of survival that have followed you like shadows. Think of it as a pressure cooker that has been sealed for decades, steam building slowly, quietly, until the metal begins to tremble. And this Friday is the moment when the lid is forced to blow open. Some of this pain began with you. Heartbreaks you never fully mourned, betrayals you swallowed in silence, disappointments you buried beneath ambition. But much of it runs deeper, tied to your bloodline, the emotional legacy of family histories where people chose silence over truth, repression over freedom, and survival over authenticity. You've carried their weight along with your own, sometimes mistaking it for your identity, believing that being strong meant holding it all without breaking. But here's the truth. Strength does not mean being unbreakable. It means daring to feel, daring to confront, daring to release. This Friday, the universe will not allow you to keep numbing, hiding, or suppressing. You may find yourself crying, without knowing why, shaking with emotions that feel bigger than you, or suddenly seeing with crystal clarity the patterns that have kept you repeating the same painful cycles. It will feel overwhelming at first, like a storm rising in your chest. But this eruption is not here to destroy you. It is here to free you. Because every choice you've made under the weight of this hidden pain was filtered through fear and self-protection, and once that weight is lifted, you will finally be able to choose from clarity, love, and authenticity. Imagine living without the silent voice telling you you're unworthy, without the invisible chains that held you to the past. That is what's waiting for you on the other side of this release. Scorpio, the hidden weight you've carried is real, but so is the freedom that comes when it finally breaks. And this Friday, ready or not, that freedom is coming for you. Scorpio, what you're about to release this Friday isn't just yours. It runs through your blood, woven into the stories of those who came before you. Generational pain is like an invisible thread, passed down from parent to child, not always through words but through silence, through the things that were never spoken, the emotions buried so deep that they became part of the family's DNA. Maybe your parents or grandparents endured heartbreak, betrayal or loss they never had the chance to process. Maybe they chose to stay quiet, to be strong, to sacrifice their truth in order to survive, and without realizing it, you inherited their unspoken wounds. You've probably felt it in the form of repeating patterns, relationships that mirror each other, fears you can't explain, struggles that feel older than you are. This is what makes Scorpio the alchemist of the zodiac. You don't just feel your own pain, you absorb the collective weight of your lineage, as if your soul agreed to hold the darkness until it could be transformed. And this Friday is the moment when that transformation begins, not just for you, but for everyone connected to you. When you let go, you are not betraying your ancestors. You are honoring them by breaking the cycle they couldn't escape. You become the one who turns silence into truth, repression into expression, and shame into freedom. This is why the emotions may feel overwhelming, because you're carrying more than your own story. But the gift of this rare alignment is that you don't have to carry it anymore. By releasing what isn't yours, you free not only yourself but also those who came before and those who will come after. The courage you show this Friday ripples backward and forward through time, healing generations and creating new legacies of authenticity, love, and emotional freedom. Scorpio, understand this. You are the bridge between the pain of the past and the promise of the future. And this Friday, the universe asks you to step into that role fully. Scorpio, for so long you have survived by wearing masks, by keeping control over your emotions, by building walls so high that no one could truly see inside. And yet, this Friday those walls will begin to crack in ways you cannot stop. Control has been your shield, your way of navigating a world that often felt unsafe, and your mask has been your armor, protecting you from judgment, rejection, or betrayal. But what once saved you has now become your prison. You've been living as if the only way to be loved is to hide parts of yourself, to appear stronger than you feel, to manage every outcome so that nothing catches you off guard. The universe is about to shatter that illusion. This collapse may feel terrifying. You may find yourself saying words you never thought you'd admit out loud, revealing truths you've kept hidden, or breaking down in front of people who only knew your strength. But this unraveling is sacred. It is not weakness, it is rebirth. The truth is, vulnerability is not the opposite of strength. It is the deepest expression of it. By showing who you really are, by letting others see your rawness, you open the door to love and connection in ways you've never experienced. Some people in your life may not be ready for this version of you, and they will fall away. But the ones who remain will be those who see you, not your mask, and love you more for your authenticity. This Friday, the universe demands that you stop pretending, stop controlling, stop hiding. It will strip away the roles and identities that no longer serve you so that you can live as your full self. You may feel exposed, as if the ground beneath you has disappeared. But what is actually happening is that the false foundation is being removed, making space for something real to grow. Scorpio, you don't need to carry the burden of control anymore. The collapse of your masks is not the end of you. It's the beginning of your most powerful, authentic life. Scorpio, while this Friday carries a universal wave of transformation for your sign, the way it touches you will depend on when you were born, because each part of the Scorpio journey carries its own karmic themes and lessons. If you were born in the early degrees, from October 23rd to November 1st, this Friday will shine a piercing light on your relationships. Secrets may surface, unspoken truths may be revealed, or a moment of clarity may show you exactly who is aligned with your soul and who has been draining your spirit. For some, this could mean facing the end of a bond you thought would last forever, while for others it may mean finally admitting your deepest feelings and stepping into a new level of intimacy. If you are a mid-Scorpio, born between November 2nd and November 11th, the shift will be more inward, more personal. You will be confronted with long-held truths about yourself, the parts of your identity you've hidden, even from your own reflection. It may feel like standing in front of a mirror that refuses to let you look away, forcing you to acknowledge the fears, desires, and truths you've buried. This revelation may feel uncomfortable, even shocking, but it will also be liberating because once you see yourself clearly, you can no longer live in denial. And if you are a late Scorpio, born between November 12th and November 21st, this Friday will demand the collapse of the survival persona you've been carrying, the image of who you need to be to succeed, to be safe, to be loved. Whether it's the role of the achiever, the caretaker, or the unshakable warrior, will no longer hold. Situations may arise that make it impossible to maintain that facade, and though at first it may feel like losing everything, what you're really losing is the false skin that has kept you from breathing freely. For all Scorpios, regardless of date, the theme is the same: the breaking apart of what is false and the emergence of what is real. But how it shows up, through relationships, self-discovery, or the collapse of an old identity, will depend on your birth period. What unites you all is the call to surrender, to let go of what no longer fits, and to trust that the version of you being born this Friday is far stronger, freer, and more aligned with your true soul's path. Scorpio, the reason this Friday feels so powerful is not just because of your personal story or the wounds you carry. It's because the cosmos itself is aligning to amplify this transformation in a way that rarely, if ever, happens. The planets form a unique energetic pattern, almost like the universe has opened a window that lowers resistance and accelerates change. Normally, growth comes slowly in fragments, piece by piece, but under this alignment, the energy of release and rebirth is magnified, meaning what might have taken you years of inner work can unfold in just days. Imagine a river that has been blocked by heavy stones suddenly being cleared by a force of nature. The water doesn't trickle forward. It rushes, unstoppable, overflowing into new pathways. That is what this alignment is doing for you now. For Scorpios, who are already ruled by Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, this energy is even more intense. It is as if Pluto itself is demanding that you finally let go of what no longer serves, while other planetary forces soften the blow, so that, while the experience may still feel overwhelming, it is also deeply purposeful. This is why emotions may rise quickly, why truths may surface unexpectedly, why sudden clarity may flash through your mind in ways you can't ignore. And though this might feel destabilizing, it is actually grace, because the universe is giving you the rare gift of accelerated transformation. These alignments do not repeat in the same way. This is why the energy of this Friday is described as once in a lifetime. You are being asked to trust divine timing, to know that the universe does not make mistakes when it delivers these breakthroughs. Scorpio, if you can surrender to this cosmic current instead of fighting it, you will discover that what feels like chaos is in fact the universe carrying you exactly where you were always meant to go. Scorpio, knowing that this Friday carries such rare and unstoppable energy, the most powerful thing you can do is prepare yourself so that the transformation comes as a liberation rather than a shock. Preparation does not mean controlling the outcome, because you can't, but it does mean creating space for what is about to unfold. Start by looking at the emotional matters you've been avoiding, conversations you've postponed, feelings you've swallowed, memories you've tucked away. Write them down, journal them, or speak them out loud to yourself, because bringing them into the light loosens their hold on you. This is also the time to forgive, not because others deserve it, but because holding on to resentment ties your spirit to the very chains you are about to break. Forgiveness clears the path, like sweeping debris from a doorway before walking through. On a practical level, nurture your body. Rest, hydrate, eat grounding foods, spend time in nature if you can. Meditation, breathwork, or simply sitting in silence with your hand on your heart can help align your inner rhythm with the cosmic rhythm that is coming. Pay attention to your dreams, signs, and synchronicities this week, because the universe is already whispering to you, preparing you for what's ahead. And most importantly, Scorpio, allow yourself to feel. If emotions rise unexpectedly before Friday, don't push them down. Honor them, because every tear shed, every truth spoken, every release made now will make the transformation smoother when the day arrives. This preparation does not erase the intensity of what's coming, but it softens the edges and allows you to meet it consciously rather than being swept away unconsciously. You are not powerless in this process. You are an active participant in your own rebirth. The more willing you are to clear what no longer belongs to you, the more space you create for the authentic, powerful self that is waiting to emerge on the other side of this once-in-a-lifetime shift. Scorpio, when this Friday arrives, the impact may feel like nothing you've ever experienced before, as though the universe has pulled the ground out from beneath your feet and left you standing exposed in your rawest state. The emotions that surface may be so intense that you question whether you can bear them. Waves of grief that seem endless, sudden anger that shakes you, or tears that erupt without warning. And yet this breaking open is exactly what your soul has been waiting for, because for too long you have equated control with survival. You've believed that strength meant never showing weakness, never letting anyone see the cracks in your armor. But the truth is, your greatest power has always been in the depth of your heart, and the only way to access that power is through vulnerability. When you allow yourself to be seen in your truth, messy, imperfect, emotional, real, you don't lose connection, you deepen it. The people who were only drawn to your mask may fall away, but those who remain will love you more deeply than ever, because they will be connecting not to the image you present, but to the soul you truly are. This Friday asks you to step into that courage, to discover that being vulnerable does not mean being abandoned. It means being free. The emotional release you experience will open doors you didn't know existed, conversations that heal, relationships that transform, and inner peace that comes not from holding it all together, but from finally letting go. Vulnerability is not your downfall, Scorpio. It is your initiation into a higher, truer form of power. And as overwhelming as it may feel, remember this: every tear that falls, every truth that escapes your lips, every moment you surrender control, you are not breaking down, you are breaking through. What you reveal in your vulnerability will not weaken you. It will set you free and draw to you the kind of love, trust, and authenticity that your soul has always craved. Scorpio, once the storm of this Friday has passed, you will find yourself standing in a world that feels both unfamiliar and deeply right, as though you are finally living in a body and a soul that belong entirely to you. The false identities you wore, the strong facade, the silent protector, the untouchable survivor, will feel like heavy costumes you can no longer put back on because they simply don't fit anymore. In their place will rise a self that is fluid, transparent, and unapologetically authentic. Relationships will shift. Some will end abruptly, their foundation too brittle to withstand your new truth, while others will deepen, blossoming into bonds rooted in honesty, tenderness, and mutual growth. You will begin to experience a new kind of intimacy, not built on power or secrecy, but on openness, vulnerability, and shared humanity. Emotionally, you will feel as if your heart has expanded. The walls you once built to keep pain out will also no longer block joy, love, and connection from flowing in. You may find yourself laughing more freely, crying more openly, and speaking words you once feared to say. This transformation will ripple into your environment as well. The way you approach your work, your passions, your purpose, will shift toward authenticity and alignment. As if you can no longer tolerate what feels false or shallow. People will sense the change in you, not just in what you do, but in the energy you carry. And many will be drawn to your light, seeking guidance in how you turned your wounds into wisdom. And this, Scorpio, may be your greatest gift after this once-in-a-lifetime transformation. The ability not only to live fully as yourself, but to become a guide, a mirror, a source of courage for others walking their own path of authenticity. Like the phoenix rising from ashes, your wings will not just carry you, they will inspire others to rise as well. What comes after this Friday is not the end of who you were, but the beginning of who you were always meant to be. Scorpio, as this once-in-a-lifetime Friday approaches, remember that what is coming is not punishment. It is liberation, the kind of transformation that strips away what was never truly yours and returns you to the essence of who you really are. You are being asked to step out of survival and into authenticity, to trade control for trust, and to allow the universe to guide you into a future brighter and more expansive than you could have planned on your own. This day will mark the moment when old patterns end, when ancestral pain is released, and when you finally claim the power of living openly, vulnerably, and fearlessly. It may not feel easy, but it will be worth everything. Because on the other side of this shift is a Scorpio who is lighter, freer, and more aligned with their soul's true path. So walk into this Friday with courage, with open hands and with faith that what breaks will only make room for what is meant to be. And now I want to hear from you. What are you ready to release, and what kind of life are you ready to step into? Share your truth in the comments below, because your words may not only free you but inspire another Scorpio who is walking this same path. If this message resonated with you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it, because together we are building a community where no Scorpio has to walk through transformation alone. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for trusting this space, and thank you for allowing me to walk with you on this journey. Remember, Scorpio, the universe has chosen you for this moment, and by embracing it you step fully into your destiny.